Good day everybody, welcome to today's video. In today's video, if you're interested, I'm going to show you how I made those LED third brake light for my OR Fab Tire Carrier. First thing I did was set up the base. The back of the OR Fab Tire Carrier has 2 3/8 nutserts installed, so I went 11 inches for my base, marked that out on angle iron. I think it was 1.5 inch angle iron, cut it out. Then on the software I designed my bend. It had to be 11 inches on the base and a total height of 10 inches. So I calculated it out in the software. It came to 153 degrees. And then cut it down the size. And then you want to tack weld everything first before you weld it in fully, just to make sure that it is what you want it to be. Bolt it on, tack weld it. I like the way that looks. So now I'm gonna weld that tube in fully and start on the next part. So now to create my cover, what I found is the best is to take a piece of cardboard, trace it out, and I cut it out just fitting it up. I cut it in the middle because I drew on the inside and outside. And by doing that, it's going to allow it to sit in like that. So I marked out the holes for the penny lights are going to end up going. Drilled all the holes. Marked out where I'm going to weld it. And now I'm just welding it all up. And then I also welded the inside as well. So for the back side, I needed a cover, and I'm gonna hold that together by nutserts. I used 10/32, I believe it was, or 10/24 it was, and I put 5 nutserts in there, so that cover can bolt on. I also put a notch at the bottom of the cover for the wiring harness to go through. The back cover was kind of boring, so I put some holes and dimple dyed the holes. I don't know if that made it better and worse, but this is where I kind of went down the rabbit hole, and I powder coated it, but I didn't have my sandblasting perfect, and it really showed in the actual finished product. So I was unhappy with the results, so I decided I was going to start over. I got the sander out. I'm going to sand it right down because I could see where I would grind it through on the welds. Now that I sanded it down, I got the old Bondo out, and I'm going to fill that whole seam. The whole seam between the plate and the tube is all going to be filled in. Now that's nice and hardened, I took it all back, sanded it on the old dumpster there, hit it with a coarse like 100 grit, and then I'm finishing off afterwards. I think this is like a 320 or 400, and now that's all cleaned up, giving her a shot of paint, and I'm actually gonna like the way this turns out way better than the way I had it previously, because it's a lot smoother now. You can't see the defining line between the plate and the tube, and now that I got the lights in, you can see right there. I think it's 100 times better than how it looked previously. So now that I got all my lights in there, I'm going to solder all the connections and heat shrink them. I prefer to solder instead of using butt connectors. I have less hassle with them. I've never had one fail. And then once everything is assembled, I got the Deutsch connector on the end. I'm just taping up the wires. So now I'm gonna mount this on the back using the 2 3/8 slots that are supplied. Anti-seize, of course. Now the LEDs are polarity based, so I have to make sure what my positive is, and on the tailgate, on the TJ, it's the white wires, the positive. So I'm soldering those connections, heat shrink them as well, and then finally, I'm going to plug my cable in, and then I'm going to go through the process of zip tying the wire to the OR Fab Tire Carrier. Now, if you really want to get fancy, you could drill holes and then fish the wire through. That'd be a lot of work. But if you really want to make it look neat, that's what you'd probably do. But I'm going to go with the zip tie method. It's just simple, and I don't suspect I'm going to have any issues with it. So everything's back on, jerry cans all on. Do everything back up, and let's test it out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video how I fabbed up my third brake light. The only thing that I would do different now is that I designed this panel to bolt on the outside, where now you can kind of see that lip. I may actually redo it and then weld tabs on the inside, then bolt it to the inside. That's something I may change, but for the time being, I'm just gonna roll with that. You could go with various different types of lights, like a red bar, which would probably look a little bit more neater. I went with the penny lights because they're cheap. You can get millions of them, and if one burns out, you can just change it out like really quick and easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll see you in the next one.